So Colin Powell has passed away following the same deep state protocol that he's been following pretty much his entire military career, dating back to his days in Vietnam and his government spokesperson role that he eventually inherited after serving several administrations, most notably during the George W. Bush years, where he was an architect of the failed war that went on for 20 years, whether it was with imaginary weapons that couldn't be found and then were later joked about not being found by the commander in chief at the time, Colin Powell, who was not really a Republican. If you're one of those people that care about labels, Colin Powell was a turncoat, and he could work for either team, which really was indicative of what the uniparty has become. But really, Colin Powell, like John McCain, was way ahead of his time and understood that money only flows when you're willing to work and have no conscience. Colin Powell ended up being a very evil figure in politics because of the way he sold the Iraq War to the United Nations, and he lied through his teeth, and he woke up the next day and didn't feel any remorse. I don't know if he ever repented of those sins, but he is not a lovable figure for most people who know how to think about foreign policy and American dominance and American empire. And it just goes without saying that Colin Powell was not a likable character politically. Yes, it was rumored that he might run for president, or he wanted, or no, it's not that he wanted to be president, but the Republican Party, which had no soul, wanted him to run for president because, of course, they wanted their own Barack Obama on their side to show everybody that they weren't racist and that they were tolerant. And if it wasn't going to be him, it might be Condoleezza Rice, who is also one of these smart, accomplished neocons who, quite honestly, can't relate to any people in the working class, or really anyone who lives in flyover country. These are people who are elite think tank wonky politicians. Powell, of course, served in the military, but okay, he served the country, okay, but even dating back to the late 1960s, he was involved in scandal even then. So what will Colin Powell be most remembered for? Well, capitulation, not having a backbone, not having any sort of political compass, just changing and bending at any moment, apologizing for things that, quite honestly, or defending things, quite honestly, that most people wouldn't waste time defending, whether that be Barack Obama and his life, or George W. Bush and his. See, and it's weird because Colin Powell, it was easy for him to jump ship from Bush to Obama, and people who were hoodwinked into thinking he was an actual Republican and somebody who believed in certain principles understood that he had no moral compass whatsoever. It's not really nice to dump on somebody who's no longer above ground. But again, to reiterate the opening of this little video here, Colin Powell died in service to the same protocols, the same deep state ideas, the same philosophy that is killing people either in war or in bio war, or pretty much many kinds of war, kinetic war or non-kinetic war, all over the world. And Colin Powell served those masters. So it's fitting that he would be dead from COVID complications after, taking the vaccine. So he's 84 years old. So there you have it, folks. Colin Powell. It's a legacy, and it's not one that you really want to pass down to your kids.